following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, Breakout Investing, with your host, Ken Shreve.
Shreve's on vacation this week. It's me, David White, normally on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at this time, sitting in for the great Ken. As I think everybody in the financial community is on vacation, or like Tom and Steve out doing trains, planes, and automobiles, doing a lot of interesting work out in the fields. So what do we have going on today? Kind of an interesting day where we, oh boy. I always have, for some reason, this horrible thing. Go away. Please go away. No, it's not going to here for me today. So we'll have to, there we go. So we'll have to get back to it. It just seems like I'm having just a few technical difficulties to get over them here in just a second. I had a very interesting day already today, and that's, what do we have? Move that around. I've got just a few of my windows that are popping up all over the other windows that I have here. And, normally there's just not enough room. I've already got them clogged with everything I use every day. So I've got charts and the Tiger's Den and instant messengers and connections to the device that connects me to the office, so you can hear my voice in high quality. Got just a lot of things going on. But what we're looking at in the marketplace, let me see if I can actually bring this back, is a day that looks very much like a reversal day. So I'm going to get a quick reading on the market here. Let me pull up that. But what I really noticed most of the day was the advanced decline line today just wasn't doing a lot of what you would think it would do, and seemed somewhat problematic early on. I actually just sent out a tweet to my subscribers about the advanced decline line for the day, but normally the first thing I go to every day is the volume in the markets. A lot of you probably listen to the Tom O'Brien show at the end of the day, and he normally quotes something called the floor traded volume for the New York Stock Exchange. I normally use what is known as the consolidated tape, and that's all the ECNs, whether it's traded on the floor or not. Not a big difference. You just need to make sure that you compare apples and oranges when working with the volume. But there's such a high I think it's over about 25 or 30% of the New York Stock Exchange still traded on the floor. So enough for a representative sample that's fairly sizable. So either number should be statistically probably within, 2-3% of each other. And normally I'm looking for huge changes on index volumes, which are at least 10 or 15%. I actually like more than 20%. To really get a good indication, but just under 2.8 billion shares in the New York Stock Exchange on the consolidated tape. You would think if we were going to break out, I'd be looking for something like 5 to 6 billion shares. So we're probably right now at about half what we would look at for a decent a decent breakout volume. So again, we've been pushing highs, especially those I think it's May 2nd highs from several years ago. And I think it was a 1370 area. But we're getting into those with extensively lighter volume. I've been bearish for about the last 10 days. And we've had several positions in my newsletter, on the daily newsletter. Normally, Ken is talking about longer-term investment. We're going to talk about maybe a couple of breakouts that have happened. I like to look for themes in the news that leads credence to longer-term trades. I'm not an intraday trader, for those that don't listen to my regular show. But there's always a few things in the news, and I like to start off all the shows with that. And in this one, we'll go through a few of the ones that I find most interesting. The last week we talked a little bit on my show about AT&T becoming the same thing that basically Sears Holding was back in, I think, 2003. They decided to get together with Kmart. They had a lot of properties in key locations, but had really horrible stores, both at Sears and Kmart. And we're looking at actually selling the land to other people and cashing in. And that Sears Holding, was it the SHLD? It was a kind of an interesting way to actually get some money out of a company that was going nowhere fast. AT&T's been in a brouhaha since the... I got to sneeze. Ah! Seems like I always have to sneeze when I get back on the radio show here at home. Maybe it's the overhead fans that come on. Anyway, we were talking about AT&T. It's taken a beating with the whole deal with them trying to merge with T-Mobile. And very much like Sears and Kmart, they're trying to actually get some value out of the company. One of the ways is that they've really been pushing forward the idea of a land bank, i.e. selling a lot of their facilities. And normally that would be a horrible idea because you're eventually going to run out of land and then you're done with the company. It's one way to get money out of the company for a while, but selling your seed corn is not something you want to do. One of the things that has changed is AT&T is getting out of the landline business. And that brings me to the article today. And that is that there's already a bill pending in the Kentucky State Senate that will eliminate almost all Public Service Commission oversight for the local phone companies. It's basically, this bill was written by AT&T lobbyists. But it really pushes the idea that why they have, I think they either did it in 2009 or 2010, told the FCC they're getting out of that landline business and just going to a straight IP-based business using Internet protocol to route everybody's phone line and phone calls. Well, one of the byproducts is that 90% of their facilities that used to be set up with crossbar systems, well, showing my age, but even newer systems out there that were really based on true switches are going away. And by doing that, about 90% of the floor space used in most of these switching facilities that you see a lot of times behind barbed wire, nondescript buildings, probably not worth a whole lot, but they have a huge amount of land in major metropolitan cities that they've had since back in the 1920s and 30s. That land is going to be worth an astronomical amount from whatever they've had it for 70 or 100 years. Some of the land in some of the places like New York. But as they are able to divest themselves of all the copper lines in a lot of these states, they're going to be selling the premium space that they have available. They'll also be probably selling those copper lines off to anybody that truly wants them, as long as they probably maintain them. But we've talked about them getting out of the wireline business for a long time. But the estimates so far that are coming through from AT&T is that they could have upwards of $100 billion worth of sellable property. Especially with as poorly as they've been doing. Pretty interesting idea is that they do the same thing that Sears Holdings does, and that is make sure that or try to turn this into a way of really pushing the land out over the next 5 to 10 years. $100 billion would be a lot of profits for a company that is having severe managerial problems. And very little, if any, chance of them ever getting that T-Mobile spectrum. A lot of people have counted AT&T out. What they do have is a lot of money in this property that could keep them going for an extensive amount of time. So keep an eye on that. AT&T, not particularly a breakout investment, investment, but certainly something we want to be keeping our eye on. And we're seeing these shots across the bow that are long-term trends that may make something like AT&T be a breakout candidate for Ken in the future. And certainly I'll be watching it also. But again, it's probably short-lived, like Sears Holding. Eventually, Sears ran into the decreasing real estate market and hit a bump in the road. I think that the big difference is that these locations are in such prime real estate, and also are hooked up with huge amounts of infrastructure, pipelines under the city, easement rights, especially in places like New York, out in Los Angeles, San Francisco, that I think they may really have one of the best land banks available out there. We've been covering some other things in the news, and that actually came along with AT&T. We talked a little bit about it on Friday, and that is an SEC decision that telecommunications companies must give shareholders an annual vote on wireless net neutrality resolutions. This is the same kind of thing that could be a long-term trend in actually both wired and non-wired, whether it's optical. And that is that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission told AT&T and other telecommunications company they must include a resolution supporting wireless net neutrality for a vote in their annual shareholder votes. This could also be a huge issue with the profitability of these companies going on long term. Was talking just a little bit before the show to a couple people in the den. One of the things we were talking about was corn. Another very interesting article I saw, and that is Monsanto has been rather a big bully. And they've had their genetically altered seed, and if it blew onto somebody else's land and grew, they were saying, well, you can't do that. You have to have a license to grow our corn, and if it blew on your land, we're going to sue you. So most farmers have not been able to do much against a bully like Monsanto. Just a matter of time before 300,000 organic farmers have filed suit against Monsanto. Basically, to this point, they haven't been able to afford a proper defense, and competing small farms have had to sell out when they've been next to these farms selling these genetic seeds, as they just can't go out there and figure out what's going on. Anyway, Monsanto has seen their profits increase by hundreds of millions over the last few years, but now with 300,000 people, farmers, and some decent lawyers, you might see this trend move along fairly quickly. We'll be back in a second. You can give us a call at 877-927-6648.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you seek to maximize your returns. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of The Money Game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And this is David White sitting in for Ken in Breakout Investing. We'll go through a few more news articles out here of interest before we start getting into some charts and some breakouts, actually. We talked a little bit about nuclear power last week on my show, and I think we're already starting to see a little bit of the seeds of what's going on out there. One of the things I learned early on, and Steve Jobs said it best, you have to connect the dots backwards. But one of the best educational experiences I ever had was learning to fly. And one of the things that they actually taught you to do was you're always looking for, especially in a small plane, you're always looking for a place to land, a field, a road. Always be kind of, when you have a little extra time, look out there in front. Is there a airport close to you? Where's the next close airport for you? If the weather gets or starts to deteriorate, where would you go? You always have to be thinking ahead of time. And we're kind of doing that in the den today. We were talking about some opportunities that would be interesting. Somebody brought something up, and it kind of got my the juices flowing for how we think about some of these things. And it's kind of hard to see when you actually have to do it all at once. But today I was kind of looking at what would happen if a shooting war actually came out in the Gulf. What would I want to own? And that's probably a pretty good experience, but it's the equivalent of looking out in front of your airplane, knowing that if you had to land almost immediately, is there a field? Is there a road? Are there telephone and wires next to that road? Is the field plowed, or could you land in a nice field that was fairly flat if you had two to pick from? A lot of that is just exactly what pilots do, which is always looking ahead at some of these other issues. We're going to go to a couple other things here in the news real quick. Let me see if I can't pop them up here. One of the things that was also interesting, and we were going to get into it in a second, is we found out a little bit more about there was $6 trillion worth of bonds found in a safety deposit box over in Europe. They've dug into it a little bit farther and found out what they actually wanted to do is use those bonds to acquire plutonium. So I don't know. It looks to me like they didn't think that they could actually get and sell bearer bonds to anybody that knew anything about it. But it looks more and more as they dig into it that they were going to scam somebody else for plutonium for a bomb. So it's kind of interesting when you see these things. Apparently no one would have given anybody $1 billion for a bearer bond, but very interesting idea that they had $6 trillion worth of $1 billion bearer bonds in this safe. Probably could have brought down the Federal Reserve System and probably the world markets if they'd actually been able to flood the markets with these. But my understanding is that what they did was copy bearer bonds from back in the 1920s or 30s or something. Wasn't a big chance that anybody was going to actually give them $1 billion for anything, but may have been able to scam some people with some plutonium that didn't know much about finance. And it looks like that's what their system was. It was found in also additional ones were found in an old trunk. But they may have been, it looks to me like they, or from one of the articles you read, that these things have been around for a long time. Someone had found them and decided that they were going to go back and try to make some use out of them. The what else is out here that was very interesting? One of the other things that hit the news wires over the weekend is that NVIDIA, has been really pushing to get into mobile computing. Symbol is NVDA. One of the interesting things with NVIDIA is actually they've had a first NVDA. They've had their first VDA, yeah. They've had their first phone that actually used their processor and their graphics chip actually ship. It's a little a little interesting. Still bouncing around out here, just under $16 NVDA, but they are at least trying to get along and move along in this market. When we get back, we're going to probably go into a few more charts here that we look at maybe topping out or breaking out.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
TFNN has an exciting announcement. As part of our Go Long America contest, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes will be hosting 4 live in-person workshops that are absolutely free to attend. Denver on February 21st, Spokane on February 22nd, San Francisco on February 23rd, all from 6:30 till 9:30 in the evening, followed up by Boston on Saturday morning, March 3rd. Steve Rhodes will show you how to understand the power of 1% and how to master probability, along with avoiding getting stopped out of trades early, while Tom O'Brien will speak about the intense trading power of Tiger Gartley and butterfly patterns. All of these workshops are completely free to attend. Come see Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes live at one of these free workshops as part of the Go Long America Tour. For more information and to reserve your seat today, visit the front page of TFNN.com and click on the Go Long America Tour banner.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by Direction Shares. To learn more about tactical tools for the sophisticated active investor, hit the Direction Shares banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we have a caller, and we're talking to Steve in Largo. How you doing today, Steve?
Just fine. I was wondering if Tesla, TSLA, is going to break out.
Well, you certainly have a nice pattern here. What you wanted to see, we came within 3 cents on Friday of testing the, the December 5th high out there at $35. It had 1.8 million shares at the high, which was really, on the 16th of November. It's that was the highest volume. Had a little lower volume on the absolute high of 12.5 at 1.16 million. I always use the highest volume within 0.5% of the high. So my work would say that to be conservative, you'd want to see 1.8 million shares. We had 1.3 million shares on Friday. Pulling back down on under it. This is a nice consolidation pattern. I'm looking for the market to pull back here. This would be the problem is that this is going to be a very news-driven stock here as long as Iran keeps on yelling and screaming and throwing their toys. It's the energy down from $35 down to $22.64. Was just about equal to the energy back up. So you don't have a huge bias one way or the other. I was actually during the break looking for an article, maybe find it during the next break that I have. But I was looking at it either last week. They have a lot of good things happening inside the company. Go ahead.
Yeah, they lost a couple of engineers a couple of weeks ago, but what I'm really interested in is it seems to me they're poised if this battery technology comes along in the next year or two.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and that's why I was hoping to find this article. But my understanding that their new vehicle is going to go from about 140 miles capacity at 55 miles an hour to 220 in this next model that they have.
Yeah, the X model, yeah.
Yeah, and that was is batteries getting better? Yes. Still would probably like to see something like 350, 400 mile range.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to make the actual model actually take off. One of the things that most people in technology always say is that a product really doesn't fail because it wasn't perfect at launch, but just because it wasn't revved or modified quickly enough or enough times to get it to the part where it will go to wide adoption. And I think your call's right, is that we are looking for battery technology. The question is, are you going to get it, or is it going to be driven by something like a geopolitical event? If you can't get gas at all, 200 miles sounds great to me.
Thanks, you've been very helpful.
So, that's it. I mean, that's the problem. I hate trading these kind of companies on geopolitical events, but I was actually going to get into that here as far as maybe a possible way of looking at a stock. But very close, but it looks to me more like a trading range. You had just slightly higher energy going up than you had going down. You've got that nice gap from about $22 up to, 25 $22.50, maybe 25. It could come back and find that if these things calm down in geopolitical veins. But I would suspect that if you get a nice 50% retracement, this thing is probably, with as much energy going up as down, might find a upper trading range from about maybe $30 to $35 here for a while. I don't think that Iran's that issue is going to come off the table in the next 6 months. So probably have some fairly decent support on it. God, I wish I could find that article, because it actually went through a lot of the financial and engineering changes that they had in the company, beyond just those engineers being traded or changed out. But it looked like they are probably have the best technology in the industry, so they're probably going to be best in breed. And certainly look like that at least they are getting better. And I don't know if we need. This is probably still the early adopter phase of a company, and you really need to hear that there's some kind of battery technology that they could buy to get us more into that 400-mile range. But that would be my idea. This thing's probably trapped in an upper trading range of somewhere around $30 to $35, unless crude really takes a nosedive.
Yeah, except for that's for the foreseeable future. No telling what can happen long term, huh?
I'm thinking that like you said, when the problem is, when does that technology actually come out? I know that there's about 3 companies working on better technology, probably within the next year, that would get a car like this to 300-mile range. But normally, what I think everybody's looking at is whether or not you could get the same kind of range you could get in a car, which is somewhere around the average car's range is somewhere around 400 miles. And I kind of look at that as being the yardstick, because even if you get 400 miles in a car electrically, if that's what they claim, you turn on heaters, air conditioners, radios, everything else, you find that that's much lower range than you would think. In fact, the volts were tested, I think, either the week before or 2 weeks ago, and they ran out of power in the Lincoln Tunnel and caused quite a problem in New York. And a lot of people were very upset because it got about 1/4 or 1/2 what GM was actually claiming in their tests around town in New York. And of course, that's not the place to run out of juice. And they did. So the Tesla cars look at least 2 years more better as far as full electrics than any other.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You bet. You have a great day. Right now, I'm looking, like we said at the very beginning of the show, looking like a pilot, where would we land if something bad happens? And one of the things we've been talking about in the den was corn ethanol prices. I didn't know exactly when the subsidies for ethanol ran out, but we found out that it was at the end of this year. What does that do? But there was a particular company I've traded for a while, PEIX, and it's called Pacific Ethanol. But what I'm always looking for is something did really bad happen in the Gulf. What would you do tomorrow, or what would you do? Would you have to start looking for something? If you did, would it already be over? Would a stock, like we're looking at Pacific Ethanol, already be up $1 before you could get to it? The idea is to be able to look far down the road and know what you would do and where you would do it. There's two companies that really work hard in ethanol, and one is ADM. Unfortunately, it's a very large billion-dollar company that is going to also be paying more for corn. Even though they may get some bounce, I'm looking for something that could really pay off big in the way of a unexpiring option. And thinking as a trader, that's probably one way to look at it, especially these inexpensive stocks. The most you can lose is, $1.50 on this. That means that you don't load up to it with the extent that you know that the stock is going to run. But you certainly may be watching for something like a geopolitical event, maybe something intraday, and before most people could even react, you may already know what to do. This is just one possibility. Pacific Ethanol, PEIX, would be one, since mostly because of just the geopolitical event. We've seen the rhetoric from Iran continue to escalate. We've seen, I think, even today, either Netanyahu, maybe it was yesterday, was meeting with President Obama on what to do about Iranians actually getting nuclear weapons. During the before the Second World War, Hitler wrote a huge book about how he wanted to kill all the Jews. He basically told everybody what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. Amazin, I can't even say his name now. The president of Iran has basically said the same thing. He said he's one of the true believers that the 13th Imam's going to pop out of a well and bring the Holocaust and Armageddon when he pops out of that hole. And from all accounts, he's a true believer. I think you have to, especially if you're in a country that at some points isn't more than 8 miles wide, have to be very wary of someone saying that they're going to come and get you. So the question is whether or not they do or don't have something. My guess is that, especially when you read between the lines from the news coming out of Iran, that the president of Iran, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name today, is probably going to have election or even power worries. A lot of in-faction wrangling in that part of it. So it wouldn't be inconceivable that there would be a wag the dog moment with him actually starting something to keep power. He is a true believer, no different than, as far as I can tell, than people that have bought the whole thing like Nazis were. He hadn't done anything yet, but certainly continues to say that. The question would be, are you ready for a geopolitical event? And the idea is always looking at it. Anyway, looking at another option would be, besides straight energy plays, we were talking to that gentleman in the den about corn, which is the Techum Commodity Trust. This is an ETF that specifically looks at the 3 forward contracts in corn, commodity contracts, and why it's not the greatest trader in the world might be another good way of or maybe being able to get into a fast-moving market where people aren't looking at the first run out here. The one thing I really like about the corn ETF, which symbol is CORN, is this nice low. When we look at it back here on October 3rd of last year, $38.72 in the ETF with 220,000 shares. We've seen a very, very low test multiple times, 50,000 shares, 58,000 shares, 96,000 shares on January 18th, but it couldn't even get all the way down to that low. We've had kind of a move up on light volume, but also a move down on light volume. This thing continues to look like it's basing out. Might be yet another option for us to go back and look at something that may run if we do have an event. Another one that we were talking about last week, the two new plants in Georgia that got permits to build nuclear power stations. I thought it was actually going to take somewhere around 10 years to actually build these. Westinghouse has got the contract. They've also got an assembly line set up to actually build these units, and they're saying that they could go online with these smaller mass-produced units as soon as 2016. I think that was all that something like CCJ needed to actually get a little bit of steam under it and maybe run at least a few shorts out here. Not recommending you run right out and buy it, but this is another theme, which is energy coming to the forefront, geopolitical events in the Gulf that could end up driving this market. Volume's pretty good, going to be probably close to 4 million shares probably by the end of the day. But we're starting to see these things come off. Of course, they got smacked down with a huge amount of energy off the Japanese tsunami lows. But one of the interesting things about, actually there was a good podcast out there, it's called Science Friday, and I subscribe to it and listen to it most weekends if there's anything interesting in it. A lot of times it's politically correct, but they did have a gentleman that was very into nuclear power on this weekend's, or this Friday's podcast. And he went through the design of the new reactors and why they aren't the newest bead reactors. They do have one new important safety feature, and that is that they don't need any electricity at all if they lost the pumps that pump the water through the reactor to actually cool. They will automatically cool if all power is lost. They have also upgraded the shielding to the facilities so that they will take more than 1.5 times the energy of a 747. I guess this is, a lot of the things that you want to look in investing. Westinghouse is going to be building those nuclear power delivery systems here over the next several years, but might be a very interesting part of the energy complex. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing Breakout's gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, I just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
I'm very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, Did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
Yeah, I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. Catch Tom O'Brien, founder and CEO of TFNN, professional trader and educator. Also a special guest on CNBC, analyzing the commodity markets. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back, we're getting you to wrap up the show and then go to the next 2 hours, normally hosted by Tom O'Brien. Of course, Steve Rhodes and Tom O'Brien out doing the road show this week with trains, planes, and automobiles. So I think they're going to be calling in and doing their show from the road tonight. And then I think they're in, Colorado tonight, getting ready to do their presentation. And it'll be very interesting. One of the things that's come across the wires today, although it doesn't seem to have much of a impact, was Netflix, NFLX. The Artist, which is a movie that's, I guess it's a silent movie. I haven't seen it. Also in black and white, up for an Academy Award this year. They just actually signed a deal over, I guess it was either over the weekend or yesterday. The Weinstein Company, which makes a lot of these kind of art house films, has inked a multi-year deal with Netflix and its artsy catalog to the streaming service. And actually, one of the things Netflix is looking at is to bring The Artist to streaming very quickly. Doesn't seem to have done a lot of good for Netflix today. Netflix has kind of come back to this huge down trend line where it broke back, when was that? on October 25th and kind of blew apart from 120 down to that 74.25 level. It has kind of had its nice base out and come back up to this resistance level. It's going to look to me like it's going to take an awful lot of work for it to come back and go back above 120, especially with the way the market's trending. These guys are going to have to spend quite a lot of money to continue going on to it. My guess is that even though this gap up happened on very high volume, we probably don't have a breakout candidate in Netflix. A couple of the other ones that caught my eye that look kind of toppy and maybe be topping out here, I think I talked about it a little bit last week, is Continental Exchange, symbol is ICE. Been banging around these highs. The one that I'm really looking at is the March 7th high, 1.5 million shares. Came into it and actually about 38 cents light, but I don't know if it's going to be able to get back up there with the market kind of acting weak here. Energy up over the last 4 or 5 what are you going to say? 2 trading weeks, I guess. Really very strong. But the last 4 or 5 days kind of look like a exhaustion moves to the top. There's a huge gap, and that gap runs from about to 124, 123, all the way back up to 127 in International Exchange, and being weak up here at the top over the last 1, 2, 3 highs. The last one was up there at 1.4 million shares. Last attempt on October 28th. So certainly extensively off that kind of high volume, but 1 million shares. Probably setting up a higher trading range, and you probably like to look at this thing back in that 125 area. If we do have a nice pullback, which is what I'm looking for, might be some nice setups for breakouts, and we might hear Ken in his radio shows in the future start talking about ICE. But certainly up there at top, energy going up is fairly good, but a lot of times you get up to the top and everybody's just willing to get their money back as fast as they can. Nice low volume pullback into those gaps, acting for support, might be the next turnaround candidate for us, and a breakout candidate for us too. Anyway, you all have a great day and a safe day. Hang on. In about 8-9 minutes, we'll be starting the Tom O'Brien Show on most of the TFNN Broadcasting Network. In fact, all of the TFNN Broadcasting Network. You all have a great evening and a safe evening.